निवेश, ऊर्जा और पीपल टू पीपल संपर्क हमारे सहयोग के स्तंभ रहे हैं। साथ ही कई नई क्षेत्रों में भी हमारा सहयोग बढ़ने की संभावनाएं हैं। हमारे बीच फूड कॉरिडोर्स पर नया एमओयू बहुत अच्छी पहल है। हम फूड प्रोसेसिंग तथा लॉजिस्टिक्स सेक्टर्स में यूएई के निवेश का स्वागत करते हैं। इससे भारत यूएई की खाद्य सुरक्षा के लिए एक विश्वस्त पार्टनर बनेगा। भारत ने स्टार्टअप्स के क्षेत्र में अभूतपूर्व प्रगति की है। पिछले वर्ष भारत में 44 यूनिकॉर्न्स उभरे हैं। हम जॉइंट इंक्यूबेशन और जॉइंट फाइनेंसिंग के माध्यम से दोनों देशों में स्टार्टअप्स को प्रोत्साहन दे सकते हैं। इसी प्रकार हमारे लोगों के कौशल विकास के लिए हम आधुनिक इंस्टीट्यूशंस ऑफ एक्सीलेंस इस पर भी सहयोग कर सकते हैं। पिछले महीने जम्मू कश्मीर के उपराज्यपाल की सफल यूएई यात्रा के बाद कई अमीराती कंपनियां ने जम्मू कश्मीर में निवेश करने में रुचि दिखाई है। हम यूएई द्वारा जम्मू कश्मीर में लॉजिस्टिक, हेल्थ केयर, हॉस्पिटैलिटी समेत सभी सेक्टर्स में निवेश का स्वागत करते हैं और आपकी कंपनियों को हर तरह की सुविधा उपलब्ध कराएंगे। योर हाइनेस, अगले वर्ष भारत G20 समिट का आयोजन करेगा और यूएई COP28 का क्लाइमेट का मुद्दा वैश्विक पटल पर निरंतर महत्वपूर्ण होता जा रहा है। इस एजेंडा को शेप करने में हम आपसी सहयोग बढ़ा सकते हैं। हम दोनों ही देश समान विचारधारा वाले पार्टनर्स के साथ काम करने के बारे में भी सकारात्मक रवैया रखते हैं। मुझे विश्वास है कि भारत, यूएई, इजरायल, यूएसए ये समूह हमारे सामूहिक लक्ष्यों को आगे बढ़ाएगा, विशेष रूप से टेक्नोलॉजी, इनोवेशन और फाइनेंस के क्षेत्रों में। योर हाइनेस, इस वर्चुअल समिट को संभव बनाने के लिए एक बार फिर आपका हृदय से बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं।
Next, with permission of both the leaders, I would request India's Minister of Commerce and Industry, Shri Piyush Goyal ji, and the Minister of Economy of the United Arab Emirates, His Excellency Abdullah Tuq Al Marri, to exchange the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement signed between India and the UAE. Thank you, Excellencies. We will now screen videos on this historic agreement between our two countries.
Today, India and UAE's bilateral relationship is at its historical high. The leadership of both nations has an unprecedented goodwill and tremendous energy to build on the comprehensive strategic partnership and collectively embark on a journey of a prosperous and sustainable future. Today, both countries are leading trading partners of each other. While UAE is the third largest trading partner and the second largest export destination for India, India is the second largest trading partner for the UAE. The two nations now stand poised for a mutual takeoff to realize their long-term goals. India-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, a landmark trade pact. CEPA will propel the two friendly nations forward towards a magnificent shared destiny. CEPA can facilitate upward mobility across economic value chains and create hundreds of thousands of employment opportunities in both countries. For UAE, products of export interest like dates, petrochemicals and metals will see enhanced access to the large Indian market. For India, there will be enhanced market access for products cutting across sectors, particularly the labor-intensive ones like textiles, leather, gems and jewelry. This is a comprehensive agreement covering all areas of economic cooperation. Bilateral trade is projected to increase to $100 billion in goods and $15 billion in services in 5 years. This path-breaking agreement will lead to seamless flow of goods, services, capital, technology and people, and mutually enriching and rewarding collaborations to attain sustainable growth, development and prosperity of peoples of India and the UAE. India-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. History in the making. Let us join hands and welcome this new beginning.
The UAE and India are embarking on a new era to strengthen ties, expand collaboration, enhance cooperation, and unleash the infinite potential both nations hold in their hands. Together, India and the UAE are gearing up to unlock new social, cultural, and economic opportunities and deliver a shared vision of future prosperity for all posterity. To write this new chapter of success, we have signed the historic India-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, a paradigm shift that promises to boost trade and investment, fuel competitiveness and productivity, accelerate innovation and sustainable development. Based on transparency and trust, this transformative deal will create enormous benefits for the people of both nations. It will remove or reduce tariffs, improve market access, facilitate FDI and joint ventures, expedite the global economic recovery, and place India and the UAE at the heart of global trade. As we continue to adapt to a complex and rapidly changing world, India and the UAE understand that our greatest challenges will not be solved in isolation. Our collaboration is critical to safeguard the seamless flow of goods, services, and investments. Together, we can build a more resilient, agile, and responsive bilateral ecosystem. One that forges new pathways for aviation, hospitality, logistics, petrochemicals, and digital trade. One that harnesses the potential of future technologies. And one that lifts non-oil trade to $100 billion in 5 years. Making a sea change for trade liberalization and dynamic investment policy making. This agreement will help spur our bold economic vision for the next 50 years of relentless progress. The India-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement.
Excellencies, Departments of Posts, Government of India, and Emirates Post of the UAE have signed an MOU for release of a joint commemorative stamp on the occasion of the 75 years of India's independence and the UAE's year of the 50th, which marks 50 years since the founding of the Emirates. I request Honorable Prime Minister and His Highness the Crown Prince to kindly witness the release of the joint commemorative stamp. With the kind approval of Honorable Prime Minister and His Highness the Crown Prince, I now request the issuance of the joint vision document entitled advancing the India-UAE Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, new frontiers, new milestones. Excellencies, our two sides have also agreed on some MOUs. First is the MOU between Agricultural and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority of India and DP World and Al Tahra of UAE in relation to the UAE-India Food Security Corridor Initiative. And next is the MOU between the International Financial Services Center Authority, GIFT City, and Financial Services Regulatory Authority of the Abu Dhabi Global Market on mutual cooperation in the fields of financial products, services, and institutions. Excellencies, this brings us to an end of this summit. I convey our deep gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister of India and to His Highness the Crown Prince and other distinguished guests for their gracious presence at this important occasion. Thank you and namaskar.